Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a really impassioned, fascinating philosophical discourse by Akash Ashok Shivapur. He takes a pretty hard, critical look at humanity's cyclical history, the illusions of our modern society, and what he sees as an urgent need for genuine empathy. So if you've ever looked around and felt like modern society is just repeating the exact same mistakes over and over, or that our so-called progress might actually be a massive step backwards for human connection, well, this analysis is absolutely going to resonate with you. Let's get into it. Here is our roadmap for today. We'll start with the cycle of legacy, then move into the modern illusion. After that, we'll examine Earth, empathy, and destruction, dig into karma and cosmic patterns, and wrap the whole thing up with waking up humanity. Section 1. The Cycle of Legacy. So the speaker argues that human history is strictly cyclic. Think about it. At year 0, we're born with absolutely nothing. Zero legacy. Then, by year 30, we're grinding, right? We're actively giving our lives, our time, and our energy to build something. And by year 80, we pass away, leaving whatever we've built as the literal foundation for the next generation to stand on. But here's the kicker Shivapur points out. Instead of using that incredible foundation to truly advance outward, like, say, exploring the cosmos or elevating our consciousness, we often just become the victims of our own destruction, and we restart the loop without actually evolving. It's honestly like a giant puzzle where we keep losing the pieces and then just remaking them. The speaker brilliantly illustrates this repetitive cycle by contrasting lost ancient knowledge, things like Vimana Shastra or highly advanced ancient geometry, with our modern equivalents, like airplanes and modern architecture. Sure, the core fuel source might be different now. We're using modern aviation fuel instead of old elemental theories, but the foundational work is exactly the same. It really proves that human advancement isn't a straight line at all. It's a continuous reinvention. Information gets wiped out by wars or natural disasters, and then we literally just rebuild the exact same concepts and slap a modern label on them. Moving right along to Section 2, the modern illusion. This brings us to a structural failure in our modern systems that the speaker frankly calls a pathetically disgusting irony. We've got this education system dating back hundreds of years, right? And it pushes people into these highly specific, intense degrees. Yet what's the reality? An MBA grad often ends up working in a BPO call center. Someone with a degree in architecture or psychology lands in basic customer service. The speaker argues this proves the structure is fundamentally broken. Highly specialized education is just routinely leading to completely unrelated fields, which highlights a massive lack of true opportunity. It really shows just how flawed the legacy of the Industrial Revolution has become for us today. And this systemic failure paints a stark, brutal picture. You have one guy literally dying on the side of the road, while another guy is driving a Lamborghini on that exact same road. The speaker emphasizes that money has become an absolute illusion. It corrupts society so deeply that extreme poverty and extreme wealth are just existing side by side, without any genuine transparency between the government and the people. We exhaust ourselves chasing wealth, pulling each other down in the process. Yet, the speaker argues if we ever want to reach a true Type 1 civilization, there will come a time when humanity must evolve past money entirely and deal in pure energy instead. This senseless hoarding of resources and this endless chase for an illusion leads us directly into Section 3, Earth, Empathy, and Destruction. The speaker asks a really raw, critical question here. Why on earth are we destroying our own house and our own kind? It forces us to reflect. I mean, we share the same hands, the same eyes, the same basic physical functions, right? Yet humans discriminate against each other constantly. We act like monsters toward one another, fighting over resources on a planet that is incredibly vast. The speaker completely challenges us to see that the person sitting across from you isn't separate from you. They are literally a reflection of yourself. So look at the bitter ecological irony of our actions. We aggressively chop down the very forests that are naturally providing us with oxygen. And then, what happened during the pandemic? We were quite literally begging for artificial oxygen in hospital beds. We've built these massive systems that profit off medical crises instead of prioritizing genuine healing. And all the while, we completely turn a blind eye to the silent suffering of animals and our ecology. These are living beings that can't exactly hire a lawyer and go to the Supreme Court to defend their right to exist. Instead of stepping up as caretakers, we've basically become the consequences of our own ecological destruction. To figure out exactly why we repeat these destructive patterns instead of, actually learning from them, we move to Section 4. Karma and Cosmic Patterns. Now, the speaker completely redefines astrology for us here, tying it to the mechanics of karma. In this explainer, astrology is not presented as some mystical parlor trick or magical fortune-telling. Not at all. It's framed as a deeply psychological framework. It's tied directly to our hormones, our dopamine spikes, and our neurological responses. It reflects the tendencies of our environment and the accumulated actions, the karma, of our society. It's really about fundamentally understanding the baseline of who you are and identifying the behavioral patterns you just keep repeating. Let's break that down because it's super interesting. For instance, the speaker notes that Saturn isn't just some big bad planet hovering out there bringing bad luck. It's actually a rigorous teacher of discipline and a cleanser of karma, often pushing people towards service for humanity. The Sun? That drives our leadership tendencies. Mercury governs business, knowledge, and widespread communication. And Venus influences our relationship with luxury, love, and romance. The idea is that the energy of these planets reflects our psychological tendencies, and when we don't bother to understand our own underlying psychology, we just keep racking up the same repetitive, negative karma. Ultimately, when we ignore those karmic lessons, we fall right into a blinding, dangerous trap. Money gives power. Power gives ego. Ego gives destruction. The speaker points out that people with fragile egos who are just completely obsessed with power are usually the ones silencing the truth and perpetuating all this societal suffering. It's a vicious cycle driven entirely by the pursuit of an illusion, and it completely blinds us to our genuine, shared purpose on this planet. Which brings us to our final section, Section 5, Waking Up Humanity. The speaker doesn't just leave us with doom and gloom. There's a very clear, structured path to evolving past our current state. Step 1, we have to immediately strip away our artificial titles. Whether you are a CEO, a prime minister, or a chief minister, at the end of the day, you are just a human being who eats, sleeps, and breathes exactly like everyone else. Step 2, recognize that we all share the same underlying soul and consciousness. Step 3 is crucial. Our absolute first priority as a species must be saving the Earth's ecology and nature, actively protecting the environments that cannot speak for themselves. And step 4, act with radical empathy and sympathy. And by the way, not that fake scripted sympathy you get from a corporate customer service rep, but true, genuine human compassion. It really boils down to this stark, undeniable contrast. On one side, we have the illusion, society's total obsession with titles, hoarding wealth, and feeding the ego, which ultimately leads to the destruction of our natural resources. Contrasted against the reality, actually acknowledging the soul, fostering genuine human connection, practicing real empathy, and stepping up as ecological stewards. The speaker is urging us not to just mindlessly drift through civilization, constantly fighting over temporary gains. Instead, we need to actively choose this deeper reality and contribute something positive to the development of our world. I'm going to leave you with this final, provocative thought directly from the speaker. Whatever we are doing in society right now, are we truly proud of the choices we are making? Take a good, hard look at the world we are building every single day. Are our personal and societal decisions made with a whole heart, free from a harmful ego? It's a pretty powerful prompt for all of us to reflect on our daily actions, our empathy toward our fellow humans, and our lasting impact on this incredible planet. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope the concepts we explored today have sparked some genuine curiosity and self-reflection. Catch you next time.